Hi, I'm Josh, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Last time we went up into the upper atmosphere to gather some science, and we landed just about there. And I sent Jebediah all over this space center to gather up some more science. Right now we have a lot of science, so let's start this second episode by developing some new technology. Now, the first thing we can purchase here is basic rocketry, which will branch off into some new things. So what we get is a smaller liquid fuel tank, a larger liquid fuel tank, a decoupler, a stack decoupler, which means I can actually decouple the pod with the little Kerbal and all the science in it from the big heavy rocket. It's actually one of the most essential parts to building a useful rocket, a multi-stage rocket. And then there's the mystery goo containment unit, a tube filled with goo. Quote, this unit was something one of our engineers came upon while while researching alternative applications for existing technologies. It's a sealed container which appears to be filled with a strange looking substance. We couldn't reach in or break the canister open, but watching how the goo behaves when subjected to different situations could be very educational. So yeah, this is like a science generator which you can only use once, which hangs off your rocket. So I'm going to buy this stuff for 5 science, and I also need to purchase all of these parts for some money. Like I said in the previous episode, I gotta pay. I supposedly gotta pay the factories who build these things to put them into stock, which is okay. I can do that. The other options I have here is general rocketry, which will branch off into, well, building rockets. Stability, which will branch off into mostly airplanes. And survivability, which will branch off into science. Now, I want to do some more science, so I'm going to research survivability, and I'm also going to research science tech. Now, first off, I'm going to purchase this stuff. This is a LV99 engine, which is a slower burning and shorter and lighter, but weaker, liquid fuel engine, which is great for landers. And we have landing struts, which are basically landing legs, which you can use in conjunction with the liquid fuel engine to, well, land on stuff. And there's also this radial parachute, which is a parachute which you can attach to the sides of a spacecraft. Yeah. Okay, the next thing we're going to unlock with some certainty is the SC9001 Science Junior. Now I'm going to read this out as well. The SC9001 is a cutting-edge, self-contained laboratory. Have you ever wondered what happens to something in zero-G? Or have you ever pondered the truly meaningful questions, such as, what would happen if I exposed this to the rings of stellar radiation, an unforgiving vacuum? Comes with complimentary notepad, recommended for ages 4 to 8. Small parts inside make it not suitable for small children. Indeed, this is a small fuel tank sized science lab, which can gather huge amounts of science from anywhere, but like the mystery goo container, it is not reusable. So I'm going to purchase this. Sadly, we almost but not quite have enough science for stuff like the thermometer or solar panels, so we're going to pass these by. For now, though, we are going to buy this thing as well as a battery pack and a better comm antenna. Whew. Okay, we have some science left, so yeah, we could spend it on this, but let's not. Let's go here first, because this is a radial decoupler. Now what a radial decoupler does, it allows you to cast off sides of rockets instead of the bottom. It allows you to have like boosters on the side of your rocket, which you can detach, which is really good. And there's also this stuff, which is the LVT-45, which I hyped up earlier. It's like a slightly weaker LV-30, but it can gimbal, so it can move its thrust around, keeping you stable. And there's also the Rockamax back solid fuel booster, which is a gargantuan solid fuel booster, and the Separatron 1, which is a tiny solid fuel booster, which fires for a few seconds to separate 2 stages in case of emergency, or in case you have very, very big stages which don't fall away from each other on their own. I'm mostly purchasing this for the LV-45, but I got enough money, I think, to entry purchase the rest of this stuff. This is a giant fuel tank and a radial liquid engine, which is very inefficient. And what we have here is, what we have here is struts, a bigger radial decoupler, a launch tower, and a stack tricoupler, which is basically not a decoupler, but something which can fork one rocket tube into three, which is really good, but we almost have the science for it, but not quite. So we're gonna have to do with what we have here. I think we're gonna go into orbit now. Yeah, first thing we're gonna do is look at our contracts. This is test the Mark 16 parachute, which is the nose cone parachute, in flight over Kerbal. Now, usually that'd be good, but the altitude and the speed, what do you call this? The altitude and the speed requirements are very specific, and you can get some money from this, but I don't know if I can make this. And this is to test the RT-10 solid fuel booster. I think that's a small one, in flight over Kerbal. Again, specific altitudes and speeds, which I don't know if I can make them. I probably will be able to get them, but this is more attractive to me. Setting an altitude record of 56,000 meters. Perfect. It gives me better rewards as well. Okay, this is a test the stack decoupler in flight. Again, with specific altitudes and speeds. I resent this stuff. Usually it's pretty easy to get these, to make those goals, but to not succeed, I don't like taking that chance. We'll see how things develop, though. We'll see how things develop. Well, for the Marad 2, I haven't actually thought this out yet. I suppose it'll have to make use of both these both of these different types of science equipment. And yeah, I'm going to use the stack decoupler to ensure only the pod lands. Because while it would be nice to recover some more than just the pod, if only the pod lands, I'm going to be relatively certain that they're going to be safe. Now, where did I put my Mark 16 parachute? Perfect. Like I said, I can use this, what's that called? I'm getting amnesia. These girders, I can use these to recess the mystery goo containment units so that they don't stick out as much, which helps with aerodynamics and looks. I have 4 of these, one for on the ground, one for in the lower atmosphere, one for in the upper atmosphere, and one for in space. Now, theoretically, I could do a lot of these Science Juniors as well. One for on the ground, one for in the lower atmosphere, one for in the higher atmosphere, and one for in space. But that's very heavy. That is very heavy, which means I'm going to have to build a nice, big rocket. I think I can do that, especially with help from the LV-45 and the LV-30. Now, this is too big for me to trust the LV-909. So I'm going to use the LV-30 because this is small enough for the gyroscope to handle on its own, I think. I think this can get from space into orbit and then back down. If I'm wrong, well, that'd be bad. But we'll see how things go. What I should also do is reorient this staging, because I don't want the parachute to deploy as soon as I detach the pod from the science stage. But what I do want to do is, as soon as I detach the former stage, I do want the other rocket to immediately fire. And this is an LV-30, right? Yes, it is. No point using the thrust limiter, because on liquid fuel rockets you can basically throttle it yourself. Pardon any remaining sniffles. It's relatively early in the morning before I go on my appointment for the day, so I am making the best use of my time. I'm still barely awake. Might also explain the errant vocabulary there. Okay, is this enough thrust to get this other stage up? Not entirely. Not entirely. Do I have other options? Oh, yes, I do. I do. I can use these radial decouplers to set up some... Wait a sec here. To attach some solid fuel boosters, which are gargantuan, really powerful. My idea is to first fire the solid fuel boosters, and then fire the little engine that could. Yeah, that might work. Slightly lower still. One, I'd say fear I might have, is that this coupling is not enough to keep these boosters from flexing too much. So what I am gonna... oh, I don't have any struts yet, because they cost just a little bit too much science for me. But that's just the way it is, I suppose. I have no real way of dealing with that. What I can do, in case things go catastrophically wrong, I would be out some money, but what I can do... just give me a sec here. This is a very greedy way of doing it, as you might be able to spot, because I'm using 4 of either science type. So I'm gonna make sure my little Kerbal, Jebediah in this case, isn't gonna get hurt by adding some thrusters. Now these thrusters are gonna be emergency thrusters, so I'm gonna put them in a stage above even the parachute, because they aren't gonna get triggered normally. My idea is that in case of emergency, this thing immediately detaches and these immediately fire, carrying the pod away from the rocket and high enough for the parachute to make sense. Now the action group for that one is going to be the abort action group, which you can get if you hover over a certain part of the UI. I know how to do that. So I'm going to activate this engine and decouple this thing on aborts. These are also useful for giving myself an extra little boost back into the atmosphere if it turns out I miscalculated something. This rocket overall might be slightly unstable, but we will see how things go. Worst comes to worst, I can just fire the liquid fuel engine and help with controlling it, but we'll see how things go. This is a lot of thrust to put on a single rocket, but it's also very cheap. So there's disadvantages and advantages. Now, if I'm smart, I can do this. I can add observed mystery goo and observed materials to custom group 1. Oh no, they're all in the same group, so I can't do that. Never mind. I'm gonna have to do that manually. What I can do is put crew report on button 1 once again, which means I won't have to click there, at least. We have already got crew reports up until the upper atmosphere, so this is only really going to be useful in space. Now, is this going to be enough to get into an orbit? Hell, it might not be. What I can do, and that might not be the smartest thing, but I'm going to try, is this. This will surely get me into orbit, which means my little Jebediah can scout all around the planet. It will also, with some certainty, get me back out of an orbit. It will add some weight to the rocket, though, and it might be superfluous. Then again, it will allow me to eject these science pods when I'm in a high enough orbit, so I like that idea. This does mean I'm probably going to have to replace this LV-30 with an LV-45. I'm going to have to recheck all the staging, but I think it'll be worth it. It's a bit over-engineered, but I'd rather be over-engineered and have plenty of thrust left than to be under-engineered and not have any thrust left at all. Yeah, this might prove a detriment to stability, though, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. And then this thing detaches, and then the parachute fires, and the... Ooh, I'm gonna have to also redo the abort button, because this is not that one, it's that one. Decouple, yeah, decouple that one, yeah. Okay, this seems to be the Murad Mark II, ready and set to go. I can do some of the contracts, I suppose. but I really don't want to. I can do a lot with not much money, and there are safer contracts and more humanitarian contracts which you can do, such as at higher points when you have AI-controlled spacecraft. You can actually save Kerbals from orbit, or multi-seater spacecraft. It all depends, of course. Right, thrust up to maximum, stability control on, quick save 1. I've already observed things with my Kerbal on the first flight. Material study from Launchpad. Quote, the materials show little signs of change, though one of the samples appears to be judging you silently. Yeah, sorry about the lisp, material sample. It's early. Okay, the goo doesn't seem to be doing much right now. Okay, then let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Instability. Materials bay. The less resilient samples appear to have splattered around the interior, forming new and interesting color combinations. I seem to be going off-center. Observe mystery goo. The goo jiggles and wobbles as the craft flies. Yeah, supposedly. I can... Ooh, this is not the kind of rotation I want. Question is, can I keep things stable while this thing fires? I think I can. Barely. Barely. Okay, these things need to be finished soon. Very soon. If I unleash them before they're finished, they're gonna collide into me. Okay, this is not gonna be the most effective. Okay, gotta keep stability. Keep in. Yes, we got this. We got this. I think. I hope. We're not in the upper atmosphere yet, but we're getting there. Ooh, we're slowing. Our speed's slowing down. One LB-45 is not quite enough. We're speeding back up again. It's barely enough, apparently. Now, how do I... Is this? Whatever. I'm gonna have to turn... Oh, I haven't explained orbits yet. Whatever. First, do some upper atmosphere science. I'm going to explain orbits in just a second here. Orbits are achieved by going in a very specific direction. Now, Kerbal rotates in a certain direction. It rotates, I don't know, eastward, westward, I don't know. But you have to go eastward from a certain altitude, basically that altitude, to get to, you have to go eastward from that altitude to get into orbit, because then you, I think you turn with the planet, so yeah, the planet does turn eastward. So you turn with the planet, so the planet gives you a boost, and you're not working against the rotation of the atmosphere, you know? You're not flying against the fan, you're flying with the fan, with the atmosphere. And the idea is to turn this upward arc, which what goes up must come down, into a circle which allows you to fall around the planet. Sometimes this works, sometimes this does not. Considering I will have to eject a lot of this excess weight, I'm hoping this will get me into orbit, and if not orbit, then at least get me in a, in a high suborbital trajectory, so that I can grab the science I need from space, and then retreat back to my little pod with Jeb, and then get him into orbit, and only him. We are approaching space, though. We are approaching space, and we're going very fast. So I'm going to switch off the engine for now, until we hit the apex of our little suborbital trajectory. Oh, that's a word. That's a word and a half. And then we are going to speed up from there. And that's going to take us 42 seconds, so we might not make it. But that's still a minute away. So we're going to do our final bit of science. I'm sorry for launching in the dark, but space is very beautiful. Quote, the microgravity has greatly affected the growth of crystalline structures. Loose objects are also flying around the bay in a very messy but fascinating way. Interesting. Yeah, and observe this mystery goo as well. The goo seems to have clumped into a sphere. It also appears to have become brittle. Okay. We don't seem to have the time to fire our engines, and, well, we might just barely. Okay. Come on, Jeb. Now, the trick about, you can gather the science from these objects, and then you can either detach them, without regrets, or have them cleaned by a giant science unit, which I will soon be able to unlock, but won't be able to bring into orbit yet because it's a giant science unit. So yeah, detachable science equipment is going to be my way of doing things for the foreseeable future. And this is nerve-wracking, because I might nudge the rocket just a little bit too much and it'll start spinning. And we've also hit the apex of our I'd say orbit, but suborbital trajectory. So we are going to come back down, as we must. Unless we're going to start falling around the planet now. I'm also going to do an EVA report from space just above Kerbin's water. Why am I not doing a crew report yet? Because I'm in a hurry, and, well, I'll have my crew pod with me for the foreseeable future. So yeah, we're going to burn. We've missed our highest point, so we're going to burn upward a little bit as well. We might run out of fuel for this stage. We have, so we're going to do this way. With a bit of luck, the excellent power-to-weight ratio on this thing will actually get me into orbit. We'll see how it goes. If not, it was still a beautiful suborbital trajectory. And we've got 2 science contracts complete, which is wonderful. We set an altitude record, and we got into a suborbital trajectory. I'm just going to say, I need a better word for that. Suborbital trajectory, a big arc? That's what it is. Do we have enough fuel to get back? Yes, we do. Is this high enough? The atmosphere starts at 70 kilometers, so yeah, this is more than high enough. So yeah, we've hit orbit. So I'm going to do a crew report from space near Kerbin. We are very much in space right now. The ground is clearly below us, yes. And I'm going to, as you know, reset the thing. And we now have also got all sorts of different... Oh, contract complete. We're in orbit. Yes. Excellent. Okay. We might have enough fuel to get into a high orbit, but there's no point in doing that right now. Because I want to make sure we can get back down safely. There's also the matter of the fact that from up here, we can go all around the planet and make observations. So this is an EVA report from just above the water, and we already have that. So I'm going to stay here for a sec. The airport, yeah. Reset experiment. No, cannot quick save while Kerbals are on a ladder. That makes sense, because we know physics. If you quick save and quick load, the game resets where everything's going. And if you do that with a Kerbal on a ladder, there's a big chance they get knocked off the ladder. Which is very, very unhealthy for said Kerbal. Now, I'm hoping to get a reading of the shore, so I'm going to have to see where he is right now. Jeb's above Kerbin's water. Not good enough yet. You can't actually see above which biome you are unmodded, I think. As far as I know, you can't really see by the UI. But now, okay, we're above the shore, so I'm going to go inside, go back outside, and see if we can make another observation. Above the grasslands. Not bad, not bad. EVA. EVA. More grasslands. I'm hoping to get something interesting, but we'll see how it goes. I've often enough found really strange readings from there, and also from near the KSC, which says that we were flying above the tundra. Now, the tundra is generally in the polar regions. I don't think I have enough fuel to rotate our orbit enough to get all the way over there, especially considering how small our orbit is. When I want to get back down, I'm just going to dip the orbit back into the atmosphere and let the atmosphere slow me down. So yeah, now we wait until we're over land again. This land is boring. It's probably grasslands, but I can have a look. EVA report. Water. We've missed the land. Somewhere else here, there's mountains and there's desert, and there's also highlands, which all 3 of them I want to sample because, as you know, science. Good. Development. Okay, this should be interesting. There's also badlands, but I don't generally see those on the equator. They're generally the darker areas south and north of the equator. So yeah, you'll have to either fly around there or purposefully go there in an orbit, which I don't have the money for. I do, but I don't have the effort for. There's a lot more science to be gained in other ways. We're still above the grasslands. Now, I know for a certainty I can easily get mountain and definitely desert readings from elsewhere. Highlands, okay. And that was the one I wasn't quite certain of, so that's perfect. I mean, they're everywhere, but that's the problem. They're everywhere. They're in no specific, easily visible location. And I think I'm about to sneeze. And I don't have a mute button. I should really I should really set up a mute button. But that's, yeah, for the future. I hope this is either the Badlands or the mountains, but it may just be more highlands. Yep, more highlands. Oh, and we're flying away from our capsule, which is exceedingly dangerous, as you may know. Come on. Come on, grab it, grab it. Yes, no, oh, come on! Okay, this might be a problem. This might be an actual facts problem. I did not know this. Okay. Stop, stop, stop! Sorry for the... Okay. EVA report, more highlands. May as well keep keep working while I panic. Come on. Yes! Good. We are on board once again. Yeah. I don't know what's with this version. Kerbals in this version have a tendency of flying off the handle. Okay. And boring, boring, boring lands, boring lands, boring lands. It's daytime, so let me show you Kerbin's Ocean. And space! Space! Yep, we're in space. Very much in space right now. Isn't it gorgeous? I like it. This is just our home planet. Going to other worlds. Now that's really cool. Okay. We shouldn't run out of electricity. No, we won't run out of electricity anytime soon. We're getting there. And I think this is generally the area where I get my mountain readings from. Yes. Good. Just getting back used to the science controls here. Might as well step outside and have a look. And this will make it just a little bit easier orientation-wise to get back in. So, EVA, grasslands. Have that. More grasslands. So we're guessing we're about there? Or there, I don't know. Shores. Okay. More shores. Do I have the shores? Yes, I do. Yes, overwrite. Mountains, perfect. Now all I need is the deserts. And we may as well come down from here because, well, landing in the desert sounds fun enough. Though, generally, when I try this, I land in the water near the desert. So, we'll see how it goes. More mountains. Okay. These sure look to be desert-like mountains. I can make, like, a full power burn, but I'm still not sure if that'll be enough. So, I might as well show you guys about apoapses and periapses, okay? This one is marked PE, and this one is marked AP. This is a bit of science. Periapse is the lowest point in your orbit, and your apoapse is the highest point in your orbit. The best places to change your orbit, to burn, what it's called, is to hit the highest or lowest point in your orbit. So I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to decrease my apoapse, as in the highest point in my orbit, radically decreasing the energy at which I spin around the planet, and I'm going to put the periapse below the horizon of the planet, and I'll see where I end up. But this will be a nice, comfy, slow descent. And why am I doing that? Because that way I can go to the Space Center, and I can actually accept that parachute contract, and maybe hit the bullseye. If not, then I'm short some money, but we'll see how it goes. Radio decoupler, radio mount parachute, but so many new contracts. Okay. Ooh, test Sepratron 1 in flight. Altitude, speed, altitude high, speed ridiculously high. I can do that. Test small gear bay splashdown. I don't have a gear bay with me. Radial decoupler, don't have a... Explore the moon. Does this have... Never expires. Perfect. Test the Mark 16 parachute and flight. See, here's the thing. This speed demand is not the same as the speed demand for the Sepratron. The Sepratron is to be higher speed, far higher speed, but is that a higher altitude? 19K, and this is 17 to 23. So I'm guessing we can do this, but we're going to have to fire the Sepratrons at 19K, and then slow down to under 330 at 16K. This is not my kind of thing. I don't like doing this. We'll see how it goes. This suddenly adds a whole bunch more challenge. Play. But we'll see. We'll see. So yeah, let's look at the contracts. Keep them up here. Yeah. Test Sepratron and the Mark 16. You can, yeah. Okay, so the first thing we will need to do is to be flying at 500 to 1000 meters per second, preferably 500, and then fire our Sepratrons. Let's see if this works. Yeah, then fire our Sepratrons, and then as soon as we hit 17,800, or slightly, well, as soon as we hit under 300 meters, we will need to fire our parachute. Oh, this is going to be strange. This is going to be really strange. Oops. This is not what I built this thing for. Ah, well. What would be better? Like a really fast I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Hell, push comes to shove, I might even accelerate. We cannot be going slower than 500 meters when we hit 19 kilometers. And we cannot be going faster than 330 when we hit 18 kilometers, basically. So yeah, don't bash me if I quick save, because this is difficult. Thankfully, I do have a beautiful little thruster, which I can use for this. So yeah, see you in the morning. I think a really steep impact is going to be good. How steep? Well, steep enough to hit 19K, basically. Yeah. Well, this will definitely get us to 19K. We'll see how it goes. I want to go in engine first. I want our speed, orbit speed, I suppose, or is that surface speed? I don't know. I think that's in flight of recruitment. I think that's surface speed. They haven't made that clear. Now switch speed to surface speed. We're going 2,000 right now. That's just fine. 500 to 1,000. I'm not going to slow down. As soon as we hit 1900, I'm going to fire the Sepratrons, which will slow us down. And then hopefully, within 1,000 meters, we'll get to fire the parachute. Yeah. Worst comes to worst, we get neither of these contracts. But we will get lots of science. So, yeah. The margin for error is like 1,000 meters, which will be going, like it says, we'll get 2,000 meters a second. We should be going at 500 meters a second, which means still the margin of error is like 2 seconds, which is bad. I'm grimacing here. I'm grimacing. Good luck, Josh. You'll need it. Speed's still absurd. We're still in the upper atmosphere. Gonna have to do another correction here. We're warping time, and we are slowly descending slowly. Our descent speed is increasing. increasing. Best case scenario is we get the Sepratron award at 1900. Yeah, 19. And we seem to be slowing down well enough. Things still controllable. Yeah, still easily controllable. We're going 16. We might be too fast. Yeah, we might be too fast. I'm not sure. Keeping an eye on things. Yeah, we're going too fast. We're going down, down, in an earlier round. And sugar, we're going down, swinging. Okay. I'll be your number one with the bullet. American complex. Cock it and pull it. Come on. 18. Damn it. I missed it. I could have done it. I could have done it. Let's do it again. As I said, this is very difficult. Pardon me for actually going full Fallout Boy here, but as I said, shit, it is difficult. How did that happen? I don't know. Right. Right, there's one solution to this. And that is quite simply to get back up there. And that's not going to work, but never mind. Come on. Come on. You can do it. I said, both of you. Fire. Not you! You! Darn it. Well, it seems to me that the Sepratrons aren't firing when I want them to. Which is bad. Let's see if this works. Yes, they are. Good. Altitude is still good. We missed the altitude. So be it. I don't really care at this point. We'll do the parachute one another time. We got this. This is good enough for me for now. And we did get the Sepratron contract, so that's good. Some extra money, a lot of reputation. I'm pretty happy. Especially considering this pod is going to be, the Murad Mark III is going to be using the same pod. So we're going to have another chance at that contract. Yeah, it's done. It's done. Excellent. Next step, the moon, obviously. But we're also going to be having a look around here. Okay, what is this place? Grasslands. Okay. We're going to do all of one EVA report here. Yep, looks like dirt. Surface sample. Okay. Yeah, see? Same cliche. I don't think a spacesuit was entirely necessary to get here, was it? No, it was not. But I am going to plant a flag because I am actually proud this time. I am very proud to... yoink. First successful orbital flight. Yes. So I'm going to plant that flag right over there. And I'm going to get back in, and then I'm going to salvage the vessel. Let's see how well we did. How much science we got. I think quite a bit. I think we got quite a bit of science. Excuse me. Ooh, we got 206. Oh, we got 170 science, and now we have 265 science total, which is great. Yeah, lots of science experiments, We got some of our parts back. Still forgot to pull the monopropellant out of the pod, but so be it. And we got Jeb back. So good. We got plenty of reputation. We got 1.6 million in money, which is enough to buy a moon or rocket. And we have done the big, clunky, heavy in-atmosphere experiments. So yeah, next thing's going to be high Kerbal orbits and maybe a trip around the moon, and then Mimus. We'll see how it goes. See you next time, because I have an appointment.